Living in Japan, it's something more and more people around the world are dreaming about every year. But when it comes to actually moving to Japan, there's one big challenge almost everyone faces right at the beginning, and that is finding an apartment. Some people get told, sorry, foreigners can't move into this property. Others receive complicated contracts full of difficult Japanese terms they've never seen before. And then there's the problem of being asked for a Japanese guarantor when you don't have any family or close acquaintances in Japan yet. But don't worry, in this video, I'm going to explain everything you need to know to find a rental apartment smoothly, even if it's your first time living in Japan. You'll walk away with every essential piece of knowledge you need. So let's jump right in and look at the reality of Japan's rental market. First, let's take a look at how the rental market in Japan actually works, and what kinds of challenges foreigners often face. Japan has an enormous number of rental properties across the country, but not all of these properties accept foreign tenants. And one major reason for that is that many landlords worry about possible problems caused by cultural or language differences. For example, Japan has very strict rules about sorting garbage, and these rules are often different depending on the local area. There are rules about noise at night, rules about how to use shared spaces, and customs like taking off your shoes in certain areas. And if you don't know these manners, it can lead to trouble. But this doesn't mean landlords think foreigners are bad. What they're afraid of is simply, if the tenant doesn't know the rules, problems might happen. On the other hand, many landlords are completely open to renting to foreigners who already understand Japanese lifestyle basics, or who show they can follow the rules responsibly. In other words, what landlords are really looking for is trust in whether the tenant can adapt to Japanese living standards. In fact, the Japanese government is also paying close attention to this issue. The Ministry of Land, Infrastructure, Transport and Tourism has created official guidelines to make renting easier for foreigners. They've even published guidebooks available in English, Chinese, Korean, Vietnamese, Spanish, Portuguese, Nepali, and several other languages. These guidebooks explain everything from how to search for an apartment, to rules for daily living, to common problems and how to avoid them. So compared to the past, Japan is moving from a time of foreigners not accepted to a time of we want to support foreigners so they can live comfortably. Now let's move on to the practical part. When a foreigner looks for an apartment in Japan, there are two main ways to do it. The first method is to use a real estate agency, and the second is to use a rental site made specifically for foreigners. Let's start with real estate agencies. Most agencies in Japan can help you with everything from finding properties and arranging viewings to contract procedures and dealing with any issues after you move in. However, not every agency is used to handling foreign tenants. Some don't have English-speaking staff, and some don't handle many foreigner-friendly properties. That's why it's important to choose an agency that has experience working with foreign clients. You can check reviews, look at social media, or join Facebook groups where foreigners share their experiences. If many people say this agency made it easy for me to rent, even though I'm new to Japan, that's a good sign. When signing a contract, remember that Japan has several upfront costs: security deposit, key money, agency fees, guarantor fees, fire insurance, key replacement fees. All of these add up, and you may need the equivalent of 4 to 6 months rent at the beginning. But don't forget, some of these fees are negotiable. For example, key money can sometimes be reduced, or the agency might adjust the first month's rent depending on your move-in date. If the agency has English-speaking staff, negotiations will go much smoother as well. Now let's talk about the second method, using a rental site made specifically for foreigners. In recent years, services targeting foreign residents have increased a lot. One of the major examples is mooovin, an online rental service designed for people moving to Japan. With mooovin, the entire process from searching to applying to signing contracts and making payments can be done online. That means you can secure a room even before you arrive in Japan, for people who want to have a home ready as soon as they land. This is extremely convenient. The process is simple. You enter your desired area, budget, floor plan, and other preferences. The site shows you available properties. You review the details, apply online, and complete the screening and payment process. Once everything is done, you receive your keys and move in. In short, we've entered a new era where you can decide on your home in Japan, even while living abroad. Now, one of the biggest points of confusion for foreigners is the guarantor system. A guarantor is someone who takes responsibility if you can't pay rent. In Japan, this system has existed for a long time, and many landlords still prefer it. But for someone who has just arrived in Japan, finding a Japanese guarantor is almost impossible. This is where guarantor companies come in. If something happens, they pay the landlord on your behalf. With services like mooovin, the guarantor company is already built into the process, which makes everything much easier. These companies act as your guarantor in exchange for a fee, usually from 50 to 100% of your monthly rent. However, be careful with listings that say no guarantor required. Sometimes these properties are in less convenient locations, older buildings, or places with certain issues. Just because you don't need a guarantor doesn't mean the property is automatically good. You should always check the condition, location, and any special notes before deciding. So, we've covered the key points of finding a rental apartment as a foreigner in Japan. It's true that cultural and language differences can make things feel confusing at first, but today, there are more and more properties open to foreigners, and more services designed to support you. If you use a real estate agency, choose one experienced with foreign clients. And if you want a smoother and more convenient process, consider using a foreigner-focused site. On mooovin, you can search for apartments in Japan from anywhere in the world. We offer support in Japanese, English, Chinese, and Vietnamese. So be sure to check out our official website from the link in the description. If you thought this video was helpful or interesting, please subscribe and hit the like button. Well then, see you in the next video. I'm cheering with all my heart for your happy life in Japan. Bye bye.